Hey everybody out there, Chris and Mike here, and welcome back to another indie comic book review. And in the same fashion as the past two reviews for the big two, Mike and I, in the interest of catching up with the books that came out last Wednesday, we're going to be breezing through these books for this indie review, but not enough that we're going to completely just breeze, we're not going to go over them, but we're going to make our reviews a bit shorter than what we normally do. Just for the sheer fact to get through this, and hopefully tomorrow night, which will be today, tonight for you guys, we will be doing the live show on Comic Frontline. If we have the ability and the awakeness to do a big two review, we will. If not, it will definitely be up by Wednesday night or Thursday morning, and by then everything will be back on schedule because then we get our books on Friday and then
etc.
Yeah, so just a little update for you guys. So let's waste no time and get into the books for this week. This is for the week of August.
Oh, August 27, 2014.
And we're going to do the physical. We got 15 digital and we got a bunch of physical. I'm going to start off this week with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles issue number 3. This is Turtles in Time issue number 3. I like the artwork in this book. The artwork did change, and it takes place directly after the previous issue where they were samurais. Now they are pirates. They appear on this pirate ship in their samurai gear from the last issue. I really do like this artwork. It's a bit watercolorish or white, meaning there's no detail to the background, but it's a lot better than what we got in the last issue. So anyway, they're now on this ship, and this ship is going after the Kraken and his crew, and the Kraken turns out, spoiler alert, to be Krang. The Turtles, Mikey somehow, through this nice speech he gives at the beginning of the book, becomes the captain of the ship, and a few days later the ship shows up at, guess where? Burnow Island, which is where the Kraken is, which it turns out it's Krang. But Krang is back in Dimension X, and he leaves it up to his pirate people to, his pirate crew to protect the island. And of course they fail. Turtles get thrown into time again, and the ending I'll leave for later because it looks like it might be a good introduction for Leatherback, possibly.
Oh.
All in all, it's a quick read, but there's a lot of dialogue in it, so there's a lot of
their pirate adventure. So now they're on to their next issue.
There's only one issue left to this series, and I feel like even though this issue was really good, all in all, this was just an average miniseries for the Turtles. I hope that with the next miniseries, if there is a next miniseries, oh yeah, there is, the Ghostbuster one.
Right, the crossover.
I just hope with the next miniseries things go better, but then again, it is with the Ghostbusters, so I'm not too worried. But at the same time, this series kind of, all in all, let me down. Hopefully the last issue will be good.
Okay, and next is your book also?
It is also my book also. Starting with Zenoscope this week, we're going to start with Grim Fairy Tales Presents Godstorm Hercules Pain issue 5 of 5, the grand finale. We've got Andre versus Tyrell. That's this book. All in all, and you got Venus, who's on Tyrell's side. Andre just wants to save his girlfriend. Humongous fight ensues. You've also got Zeus who shows up. Zeus looks awesome.
Zeus always looks awesome.
Of course he does. So it's Zeus versus Venus, Andre versus Tyrell, and some really nice artwork. I'm not going to spoil what happens to Tyrell, but let's just say in the end, Andre decides not to go home. Instead, he chooses to leave without letting his mom know. You know, he wants to go home. He's about to open the door to say, to talk with his mom, and then he decides, you know what? It's better that I just I go on and I do what I have to do. And I thought that was a really good book. I thought all in all this was an amazing miniseries. Just like the first volume, I would highly recommend checking out Godstorm Hercules Pain. Also something going on right now which does still involve Zeus and the Godstorm universe is Goddess Inc. Really good story. Unfortunately not written by Patrick Chan. This was Patrick Chan's final or grand finale with Godstorm, the Godstorm line. For now, you never know. He might come back to it. Goddess Inc. is being written by somebody else, but Goddess Inc. is going really well, and this series, absolutely 5 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed being introduced to Andre, aka Hercules, and hopefully, like I said, we'll get more miniseries in the future, and maybe one day, if things go really well, we'll get an ongoing series pertaining to the Godstorm characters.
Alright, also from Xenoscope, Warlord of Oz, Part 4 of 6. We have 2 more issues left until we conclude that series. And this book, let me tell you,
still more dreams, huh?
that and also still with Glinda's wand. Like, you know, like all the powers and everything. Along with Dorothy, going on the adventures with Smith. Also with Toto. Give you some artwork here, which is really interesting. So, she's just trying to find out, like, more of her powers, and there's everything else that, like, you know, how to control it and stuff like that. So, Smith's trying to teach her that, along with the dreams that she's been having. Meanwhile, at the deserted city, the people are still being attacked, while Scarecrow and I forgot what the lion's name was. Well, anyway, they're there to still protect Lion really is protecting his own kind because they're being used and being as slaves. So he wants to try to help them as best as he can. And there's also this other woman who uses Glinda's wand.
Her apprentice.
Yeah, her apprentice that uses Glinda's wand that took them in the bubble into another place. Meanwhile, there's the Demon Knight that causes lots of havoc, and if you want to know what I'm talking about, definitely read the book. But I'm telling you, though, it's getting really, really adventurous, and lots of stuff in the end of what Dorothy does that has lots of, let's just say, after killing one, there's more to kill. In that sense. This one is a really great book, between a 4 to 4.5 out of 5. I'm really enjoying the Warlord of Oz, and like I said, only 2 parts left until we conclude it. Alright, Dark Horse Comics, I'm finally glad this is back. Tomb Raider, issue number 7. Gail Simone still writing Tomb Raiders. I am so happy that she continued on this run. And since we're now off the island, it's now Laura teaming up with I hate when I forget her name. Like, basically they're just going on top of the mountain and stuff, and she sees Alex, the dead body of him from what we saw on the island, and he's just saying, you know, like, she sees it, but person with her doesn't, and she starts to fall off, and I'm trying to find out what her name is that she is with. Meanwhile, we get introduced to someone else who's going to be in the story, and he seems to be very violent, and here's some artwork right here, which is drawn really excellently. So yeah, it's just like every Tomb Raider book. She starts going on new adventures, and you know, it's just like the video game that we've been seeing. But she's now at this place where she's going to start off other new adventures. But it's really good.
Maybe this is the comic series that bridges the gap between Tomb Raiders 1 and Tomb Raiders: Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Yeah, I would say that. I'm just trying to find what the name is. But, however, though, I really enjoyed this book. I'm glad that Gail Simone is still doing this book, and really recommend you check out Tomb Raiders. This is a good start-on point for Tomb Raiders, so if you want your starting point to start a new story, number 7 is the definite way to go, and that's technically Book of the Week for that. Close-up book of the week from IDW, Ghostbusters, issue number 19, Mass Hysteria Part 7, where Ray is still fighting the entity of Tiamat. And speaking of Ray, in the last issue, he got possessed by Tiamat. And there's this whole thing that has Tiamat and Gozer who are fighting with each other. And there's some artwork to show you some examples. And, Ray's getting caught in the middle of it because he's getting possessed by them, while Ray, Winston, and Egon try to stop him with the gun. And really, the whole book is just trying to get him unpossessed by it, along with Tiamat and Gozer bringing back the past that Ghostbusters have faced as the entities. And Ray's learning a little bit more of about Tiamat and just turning into a bat or something. And remember in the first Ghostbusters movie when they shut off the system and the whole thing, all the ghosts go out? Well, let's just say that when Egon said not to do it, Winston says that he's going to do what he does best to get Tiamat off the planet by doing that to the machine. So, oh boy. Now I know why Ghostbusters are probably going to end, because of lots of that. Really excellent. Building up really nicely, and I'm really enjoying it.
Well, I don't think it's, remember, Ghostbusters ended for all new Ghostbusters.
Right.
And now we're getting the miniseries with the Turtles and Ghostbusters. We'll probably get another series after that.
I'm just saying Ghostbusters itself, but maybe there will be, like you said. Okay, we have Archie Comics now, too, actually. Sonic Universe of Total Eclipse, issue 1 of 4 of Sonic Universe, issue number 67. And this is where Knuckles and Shadow appear in this issue. This is the variant edition, because the other edition had Shadow and Knuckles going at each other. So Eclipse is plotting his revenge to go back to Earth to take his revenge on Shadow and bring back the Dark Arms. While Shadow, Rouge, and Omega are getting their next objective, I should say, of getting the Emerald, which Knuckles have back on Angel Island. So, with that, Rouge goes to meet up with them, and of course Knuckles doesn't trust them because Rouge is always against the Emerald. So, while they're going on the next mission, Rouge lets Shadow watch the Emerald, because Eclipse, they heard, is back on the planet, and Shadow wants to deal with him, but because we know what happens there. So Eclipse overhears about the Emerald that's back in Angel Island, which is very bad, because guess what? In the end, Eclipse goes to Angel Island where Shadow's guarding it, and now it's going to be a fight. Oh my god, they left that a huge, huge cliffhanger. And it's like...
What's in the back cover?
Well, what back cover? This?
No, close the book.
Oh yeah, there's a new Sonic Boom series that's coming out for the comics also.
What is it, a 5-part mini?
Yeah, I think it's going to be during or before the TV show or leading into the TV series. It's on sale in October, so probably, between the comic, games, and TV series.
I think that we'll review digitally.
Yeah. But this one's really good, Total Eclipse for that. And also from Archie Comics, Dawn of X number 4 of Mega Man, issue number 40. This is the last part of the Dawn of X, or part 4 of 4. And, like I say, we go to the future of 2100 and something, where they fight off against the Wally Walker, where Sigma, Zero, and I know his name's in the front, Vile, help him out. Meanwhile, back in the present day, where we have Mega Man over here with some awesome artwork, they're fighting off against the other Wally Walker that Dr. Wily told him was a button that activated the robot instead of stopping him. And I'm telling you, he's going to go back to being a villain, because he just is so... because he's like trying to kill Mega Man, because I could see it. Then we go back to the Agents, where they lost Xander Payne, where he came back to the future, and said that everything went wrong and he has to stop it with all the, because he saw what happened in the future. So between Sigma, Zero, and Mega Man going into the future, they fight off against the Wally Walker, and Sigma, from what I remember, he does turn into a villain as the issues continue. I mean, from what I remember from the series, and he probably turned over a new leaf in this comic book. So back at the lab, they find out some other information, and I can't tell you that. You just gotta find out for yourself, because let's just say I think Xander Payne has lost it. Meaning his mind, not anything else. But yeah, so I would recommend getting all 4 issues of the Dawn of X. I would say between a 4.5 to 5 out of 5. Excellent series and something to look into. And okay, so now we go to Virgo Comics, which I'm still reading because it's awesome. Dead Boy Detectives, issue number 8, where we found out in the last issue that Charles found out some about his father being a murderer, which he didn't really take that much from what we saw. The first couple of pages just talks about his reaction of what he felt like, and you know, abandoning him also when they sent him to Saint Hilarions. Meanwhile, Edwin is trying to be by Charles's side by all this, and he learns a little bit more about his mother, because his mother didn't actually kill herself. If you want to find out how or what else she did, definitely read the book. So, as always, it's on their adventure, along with their friend who can actually see them as well, because they're still with Crystal. This person could actually see other ghosts that are around them as well. And it's just a really great detective book, just finding out more about Charles's family and what they were about. And also there's this other person who is taking experiments of Edwin, and there's just something at the end of the page that is going to lead into a huge build-on point to the next issue. I'm really loving this series. It's really great, and I'm definitely looking forward for more issues to read of this. Really great. I'm surprised you're not reading this because you like detective stuff, but really good. And that's all for the physical copies. So let's get into the digital copies.
Let's start with Revival, issue number 23, because I know you're going to just say 2 words about it.
Yeah. Revival number 23, I tried to like this series. I really did. But it just didn't hold me. First of all, there's too much dialogue. And there's just lots of stuff where this little boy who wanted to see an octopus from the movie is now, there's this woman who found him. And then there's this other thing of this other woman, I forgot what her name was, that went through some stuff. And in the end, she had a little bit of something that's going to be bursting out of her stomach. And all the other things, it's just not holding me. And I'm really not sure if I'm going to be getting the next issue of it, because there's just nothing that just jumped out at me like, oh my god, I have to read the next issue. It's just too long, and I don't know, it's up to you guys. If you've been reading it, you'll be getting it. If not, then you won't. And we have a
number 1, Wayward number 1. How was
Yes, we
that?
do.
I saw the artwork, and I said Mike might like the artwork.
Yeah, I really like the artwork, and I like the story of, you know, it talks about, first about this woman, I forgot what her name was, who is going to Japan, and she wants to go to school there, and the thing that she wants to learn is, well, not learn, like she knows how to speak Japanese, but she goes to see her mother, and her mother says, you know, because you're going back to school in 2 days. Lori, thank you.
Rory. R-O-R-I.
Oh, Rory. Basically, Rory's mother told her that she has to learn how to speak Japanese in school, because that's all they speak in Japan. I really like how they did the depiction of Japan and what it looks like. It's really interesting. I just never been there. I'm just saying I like how they drew it for that one. So there's a long talk that Rory and the mother have, also with the father who kind of left them years ago, but that's another story. So she goes into this alley where there are thugs that gang up on her, and there's this really cool character who comes in to save her, and we do get her name if you go down a little bit more. Basically, the thugs are these guys with faces, and she fights off against
monsters.
Well, monsters. They're not demons, actually monsters. But monsters, demons, same thing, really. So she fights off against them with her sword, and we get the name of her character after the fight. No, just keep going. Like right.
Aini.
Yeah, Aini. So that's the person who you saw on the cover is her name, and she's saying how she fought off against monsters over a number of years, and I think that they're going to be meeting up with each other very soon, actually. But Wayward was really a great first issue to have a start on point, and I really found this to be very interesting. You know. I think for those of you who like adventure and stuff, you'll definitely like this book.
Alright, next we have Dream Police, issue number 4.
Yes, Dream Police. The ones that don't sleep, that's Dream Police. So, basically it's where Detective Joe and, Kate, or Katie he calls her, even though she doesn't like that. He goes on a new file mission from what we saw in the last issue of the other files he wasn't supposed to look at. He finds more information about the other file of the mission that they're going to go on. By the way, artwork's really great in this issue. And it's up to him and Katie to do that. They meet up with this guy that they met issues back. The one that was, remember Joe Thursday's
Frank
agent?
Stamford.
Yeah, that was his first agent from issue number 1, and they got rid of him after that. Then Katie took his place. He returns in this issue, and he does stuff, which you'll definitely have to read the book to find out what that is. But let's just say that Joe Thursday actually gets a little bit of a different personality of himself because of what he saw. And then he explains to Katie about, you know, like when Stanford was his agent and everything, and get a nice walking off scene with them at the beach, and I thought that was really nice. So, you know, it's a lot of twists along with Dream Police. I mean, when they don't sleep and not dream of stuff, lots of other stuff comes out of that as well.
Definitely.
Okay, what's next?
Let's jump into, I want to just make sure this isn't, okay, let's jump into Dynamite with Justice Inc. issue number 1. This is The Shadow, Doc Savage, and I forgot who the other person is. The Avenger.
Benson, something Benson was his name. John Henry Benson, I think, yeah. But anyway, in this story, has the 3 people like that on the cover. They first want to work on this device that separates particles and stuff like that. I mean, it was all scientific stuff, so I don't want to really fully explain that. Where they're looking for Benson, the Avenger, for this experiment because it might deal with him. And he actually owns a building where his father died and passed it on to him, and he's kind of a little bit of a jerk to the workers there because he doesn't want to understand, you know, this whole thing that's going to happen now will take the company down, and they'll take him down with them if that happens. So when they try this experiment, it interferes with an airplane in the sky, and one of them who sees it, I think it was Benson, I'm not sure if it was, what was the other guy that was in it? Not the Shadow.
Doc Savage?
Yeah, Doc Savage, yeah, that's who goes.
I thought that was Doc Savage.
Yeah, Doc Savage goes and saves the plane incident, and we do get a little bit of a 1 or 2 page of the Shadow who's in this, and that was actually cool to actually see him in the issue. So Doc Savage is going on the airplane and tries to save him, but they jump into the pass with the airplane, and I think he meets his past self. But now we get introduced to a new villain, the Voodoo Master. And the Voodoo Master is going to pretty much what his plans are to get rid of the people. I think he's after Doc Savage, I think, this guy. I'm not too sure. But Voodoo Master looks like he's going to get down to some serious villain business. So definitely check this out if you haven't yet, because this is just really... It was a really great issue for that. Which you actually suggested me to read, and I'm actually glad you suggested that.
Alright, so now we're on Flash Gordon, issue number 5. First chapter in a new story arc.
It was 50-50. It's really just Flash and the friends going into these, first of all, it's more of a let's try it again. More of a space adventure that's galactic. And they're just going through some of these things that involves Emperor Ming, which is that character right there that you see. Artwork's classically drawn in a great way.
I like the artwork.
It's just the crystal that they have, because Ming said that if he gets the crystal, then he could take over the world. And I believe there's a 2-part story to this that does it in one comic book, because of the thing I saw. And they see this vision, Flash Gordon and a friend of his, and the woman's like saying, you know, like not to follow him. And one of the angels that comes down that says that you have the crystal that belonged to Emperor Ming, and and they said you have to give it up to them. So if they get their hands on it and give it to Ming, their world is screwed.
Mm-hmm.
So, and with Flash and the other guy gone, they could get her. So, not saying that she's not strong. She's a strong character in the book, but just how she's going to get out of it is going to be just absolutely crazy.
Alright, and before we continue with the last book of Dynamite, then going into Dark Horse and IDW, give us just 1 second and we're going to click the button on the camera, and we will then conclude this week's indie comic book review. Alright, and we're back, and the final book from Dynamite this week is Army of Darkness, Ash Gets Hitched, issue number 2.
Yeah, so what did you think of this story?
I liked it. It was mostly fighting. It was Ash and, I forgot her name, Sheila, and the Wizard versus these...
It was a bloody
skinned,
scene.
kind of like zombies.
Oh, the Skinwalkers, I think, right?
Yeah. And the Wizard uses his magic to tap into 2 of the skinless warriors, and they tell the Wizard, Ash and Sheila, what happened and who did it, and they realize, and it's something about Flesh, this guy who has a hoodie made of flesh.
Yeah.
And Ash is like, oh, the Wizard says, Ash, anything else made of, do you remember anything else made of human flesh? And it turns out the Necronomicon was. So in the end, they end up burning all of the skinless to death. We get to see the windmill from Army of Darkness where the little ashes are.
That. Yep.
And you get to see Ash. You don't see it, but in the background, you know he kills the rest of those little ashes that were in there. And it ends with them.
Yeah, and that's made out of skin.
Yeah, they approach this tunnel that's lined with skin. I don't even know.
Yeah, are they going back to the cemetery?
I think so.
Yeah, because that background looks like the cemetery.
And that's where the Necronomicon... Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. I read this book too, that's why I'm just saying. Because I looked, I'm like saying, is that the cemetery? And I knew that had to be it, because that's where the book is.
Yep. Alright, let me make sure we got all... Yes. Alright, so let's start with the number 1s from Dark Horse this week. Sundowners. Sundowners, sorry.
Yeah.
I was thinking of the Shadow.
And Sundowners,
you read this one.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad of a story. Like, really, just to be brief, there were just these people who get introduced in the story, and they tell about their own background and their own story of who they are and, you know, what they are, like...
what they do, what they can do.
Exactly. Like, this story was interesting. I can't remember one character that was interesting. She had, like, blonde hair in that one.
This one?
Yeah, I can't remember her name. If I hear her name, I might... But her story was really interesting of, You know, I think they have 3 stories.
Yeah, it's 3.
Yeah, they have 3 stories of 3 people who are going to be playing a huge role in this issue, and just seeing like how they became to be, and you know, what got them to be heroes and everything is really interesting, along with great artwork in the story. So that's really all I can say. I don't want to give it away because I want you guys to check it out so you can read the stories of their origins yourself, because I can't remember all of them. I just remember one of them was that lady with the blonde hair. That was really interesting.
And now the book a lot of people are talking about, Pop, issue number 1 of 4. It's a miniseries.
This was really great, this issue, and I could tell why everyone liked that series. It starts off where this guy in a laboratory, I think his name... No, just go down, don't worry. Right there in that left panel. I think they say his name. Well, anyway, this scientist created a woman named Ella Ray, or Ellie Ray, E-L-L-I-E, and she escapes from the laboratory, and she bumps into this guy. I forgot what his name was, but she faints, and he takes her in to take care of her. And they will go to the police, but the guy has weed with him, and they don't want the police to know that he has a lot of weed in his truck. And then we get into this other universe where he's just saying to her, to Ella Ray, to impress people or something. So then she wakes up at his house, and we get to know a little bit about her. You know, and then the scientist is telling his people look for the girl because she's a robot. And speaking of she's a robot, there was something in her skin that was very, very graphic. It was like a bug-type cyborg that he had to cut in her arm to get out and to squish it. But it was really something else. And then she explains to him, you know, what she is and everything. Then we get this other guy who basically was retired, and these 2 people come in saying, you know, that he lied about being retired, and that's like a federal offense or something like that. And what they do to him is so brutal, though. It's just like, wow. And now they have to go to the airport somewhere because they have a very special person that they're going to see. And I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but I would definitely say it was really interesting to see that issue.
I'll do this. Halo Escalation issue number 9. Master Chief, along with, I believe, Blue Team, if I'm not mistaken, are now on Alpha Halo. Goes back in time to where the architect, or the Didac, after the events of Halo 4, ends up somehow on Alpha Halo, and he's the one that takes out Black Team.
Oh, that thing is back again?
Yeah, him and the Composer, which isn't a 646 Guilty Sparks, it's 859 Static Carlian, whatever. Anyway, the Didac is looking to... The Composer has the Didac and wishes to reactivate a Halo that was destroyed by the humans, which is the Halo from Halo 1, and use the Halo against the planet Earth. And it's up to Master Chief and his team of Spartans to stop him. Now the Composer escapes, and there was a deal he made with 589 or 859 that he broke because he brought his people to, I forgot what world it was, and because he broke his promise, basically 859 is now helping the Master Chief and the other Spartans.
I hope Master Chief remembers him, unless this is in the past.
Let's just say it ends with the Master Chief fighting the Composer, and yeah, things don't look good, and it's to be concluded. So
Oh, then that's it? That's the end?
Not the end of the series, but the end of the story arc.
Oh, okay.
Going to be very, very interesting, especially because Master Chief, the army lied to make it look like the composer was killed, and he really wasn't. So, anyway, we got one more book from there. Captain Midnight, issue number 14. How was this book?
Yes, Captain Midnight, where Tempest has everybody hostage, and it's up to Captain Midnight and Reyes.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's his name that he's with.
I don't know.
It's Agent something. No, it's not the beginning. It's like down further. But anyway, he brings Jones, Agent Jones. Captain Midnight brings him along with him, and he has like a huge gun that he has in there. Then we have a little bit of a cutscene with Helios and Charlotte having a talk with each other because Helios wants to bring Charlotte to Chuck Ramsey because they didn't finish their business, and he knows how to get her there. And then there's these other people that come in, and you'll just have to read the book to find out. So Captain Midnight goes into the town to stop Tempest from hurting the people, and he said to him, "I'll tell you what, you refuse, and if you surrender, I will not harm the people." He does surrender, but a villain, of course, harms them, and he's like saying, "But I thought you weren't hurt them," and he said, "Well, I lied." And now he's going to get some that's going to sting very, very badly, and you know he's going to get out of that.
Obviously.
He's going to get out of that. He's Captain Midnight, but someone that's gone back to being a hero, he's going to have a little bit of a very sting awakening when he, in the next issue, but let's find out when that happens.
So you said you weren't going to read it, but I downloaded it anyway. Borderlands issue number 2. How was it?
I don't know. Like
it's called The Fall of Firestone.
Yeah. Oh, Stone. Yeah. So I read this book, and it was just them like just talking about just going out on like a new adventure, and that robot that's with him. I forgot what the name is.
Oh,
like he's a really cool character.
Claptrap.
Yeah, Claptrap's a really cool character in this story, and I really like him in Borderlands. I mean, that's mainly the only reason why I would read it, because he's really a great character in the story. But it's just them just going, like I said, on a new adventure with other stuff, and it really is sort of interesting. I'm gonna give it to you to see what you think of the story, because we recently got Borderlands, and I'm really not familiar with the story.
Yeah, and the pre-sequel's coming out in October.
Right, so maybe I'll give it to you to read, and if not, then it's a little bit interesting. Maybe you might find it more interesting than I do, but... Yeah.
Godzilla, Ruler of Earth, issue number 15. Straight up, this is Godzilla versus a bunch of metal Godzillas. That's the entire book. Him fighting the metal Godzillas, and in the end losing to a half-mechanical kaiju. I forgot the kaiju's name, but the Atlantean makes reveals himself finally and knocks out one of the professors in the story. Honestly, but you don't give a crap. At least me, I don't give a crap about the people as much as I care about the fights with Godzilla, but things don't look good for Godzilla by the end of this issue. So it's going to be interesting to see how Godzilla gets out of the situation he's in this issue. This is one of the longest running Godzilla comics that I've read in a very long time.
Yeah, I believe it's 60 years or so during Godzilla.
Is it 60? I believe.
It's on the front cover.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Yeah, 60 years. 1954 to 2014. Yeah. I really enjoyed the book. If you love Godzilla, you're going to love this comic book. The artwork also is good. Yeah. Another really great book is Transformers More Than Meets the Eyes, issue number 32. The crew of the Lost Light is still... well, half of the crew from the Lost Light is still stuck in the future Lost Lights ship.
Yep. And
as they walk around the ship, they find more and more of the Autobots dead. Their future selves dead. Megatron, they don't find Megatron though. So I forgot which one of the Autobots. Let me see if I get the roster. I'll tell you. No roster.
Really?
Yeah, one of them actually says, Megatron, you're the only one that's not dead here, and you're the only one that has a pulse cannon. So in the end, Megatron's like, you know what? To be safe, go ahead, lock me up, and they lock him and oh god, what's the name of this animal? Shoot.
That's his name, Shoot.
Yeah, Shoot. That's right.
I do have to admit, though, the artwork they do in Transformers is really excellent. I will say that much.
Scavenger, was it?
I think Scavenger. I remember you saying something about Scavenger last time. Or someone else in the other comic. Because there's more than meets the eyes and Robots in the Sky.
Ravage.
Oh,
Ravage. And Ravage actually is very mad at Megatron and reveals that he's working with Soundwave. Still, he's not. He's only there to spy on Megatron, and he tells Megatron that Galvatron's running the Decepticons, and that if Megatron really did go to the Autobots, that his mission, that Ravage's mission, was to execute Megatron. However, he doesn't believe Megatron. He thinks that Megatron. He doesn't understand why Megatron submitted to being an Autobot, and he says, you know. You're questioning, you're not the same person. What happened to the Megatron we all knew, we all loved, the one that led the Decepticons? He's like, I don't know. I think he's dead. And then Ravage says, dead or just resting. And you just see Megatron sitting there thinking. So we all know that at some point Megatron's going to turn back to a Decepticon. When, we don't know, but it's going to happen soon. Long story short, we find out that it wasn't Megatron that did the killing on the Future Lost Light. It was the Decepticon Justice Division, a ruthless, disgusting team that was trained by Megatron to torture and kill anyone who stood against the Decepticons. In the end, though, they find this out. Somehow time changes, and they find one of the Autobots, I'm not going to spoil who, but it turns out because they found this out, somehow an Autobot survived now, and he might be the link that connects the present with the future as far as events. Very interesting stuff. Alright, next is Mike's book, The Super Secret Crisis War, issue number 3 with the evil twins.
Yes.
Or the evil clones, I should say.
They're robot clones. But yeah, this is the cover. And it's just them trying to, first of all, they want to try to get out of there and all that. Ed and Eddie actually play a really good part in this story. They actually listen to the villains talking what they're going to do. There's a little bit of a fight scene of Aku and I think it's Ben 10's rival. I can't remember what his name was, but they have a little bit of a fight in the beginning, and then there's these robots, and they fight off against them, and you know they do it like a little bit well, but there's still like more, and it's just like really chaotic and all over the place. But there's a new device called the Death Stare.
Yeah.
No, that's Death Star.
Stare with an
Oh,
E.
yeah, the Death Stare, and they're gonna have a lot of things on their plate, the heroes, and it's really gonna be something else. And
this month, the one shot's gonna be the Grim Fairy Tales of Billy and Mandy. Towards the end of the. Oh no, that happened.
No, that
I'm
happened.
sorry.
Yeah, we missed that, I think.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to grab that then.
Yeah,
I
we
must
did
have
miss
missed it.
that because I didn't read that. But I'm enjoying the one shots as well as the Super Secret Crisis War. I have a funny feeling that Mojo Jojo is gonna turn on them.
Of course
to
he
be
is.
an
Mojo Jojo
No,
is
to be an
one of those-
anti-hero because he wanted to destroy everything with his destruction, and they're doing it in a way that he doesn't like it. So something tells me that Mojo Jojo is going to be the one that turns on them, and I won't be too surprised if Mandark did also, the Dexter's rival, Mandark. So who knows, but it's going to be something else at the end.
And then finally this week, one of my favorite books, I didn't get to read it this
I
week
did.
though yet, was The Seventh Sword, issue number 4.
Oh, this was awesome. You want to do half and I'll do the half?
I didn't read it.
Oh, I thought you said you did
No,
read it.
go ahead.
Alright, so first of all, it starts off where they fight off against this robot of, you know, just seeing if they have trained well. And, you know, he's like saying, oh, keep going one-on-one, and they're trying and everything. Gets a little bit too out of control, and he steps in and actually takes care of it. Like, literally like taking it down, and he settled that much of that. So then one of that woman I asked him, I think her name is Green or something.
Yeah.
She actually asks him to train of how they do the fighting and everything, because there's a war coming. So she trains with him, and she joins along with the group that does the whole round with each other, and he's a really great teacher, this guy. I really look up to him as a really great instructor of how to do most of combat with swords and martial arts and stuff like that. And speaking of a war coming, we do know that there is a war coming with another side, which happens mainly at the end, sort of, where they want to invade the town where he is, and it has this weird-looking lady with a bunch of arms, like robotic arms, if you keep on that one right there.
Mm-hmm.
And she looks very dangerous, and they're gonna have a bunch of stuff that's gonna be something else, because she's looking for thirst for battle, and that thirst for battle is gonna be possibly in the next issue. The way I could see the build up there, so really, really great stuff here.
I love Seventh Sword. I love the artwork, and the story is definitely gripping.
Yeah, it reminds me of Bushido. Remember when we read Bushido?
Mm-hmm.
Really reminds me of that. But yeah.
And with that, that's it for this indie review,
and by
guys.
the way, just want to make mention, I remember what the lady's name was. It was Reyes that Laura Croft is with, so that was the woman's name. It just popped in my head. I hate when that happens.
Gotta love that.
Yeah.
Don't forget to check out comic-related Comic Frontline and Zone4Podcast.com. Together we get number one source for comic-related news, reviews, and a whole bunch more. And until next time, hopefully, we'll have the Big 2 review up either tomorrow night or definitely the night after. But until then, everybody, take care, keep reading, keep collecting, and we'll see you guys in the next review.
Later, everybody.